There's nothing quite like being able to pick your own fresh fruit right from your own trees. And one of the most important reasons to really plant a tree, in my opinion, is to be able to enjoy the fruits of those trees. And in here, I have my mixed orchard. So right now I'm standing around a bunch of citrus, be it a lemon to my left, a kumquat just in front of me here, a notchi here on my right. And by having a diversity of these citrus, in addition to the mangoes, the lychees, the lemon meringue pie fruits, in this mixed orchard is I can have fruits at different times of year and I can just enjoy all those fruits as much as possible. It does take a little bit of time from when you plant to when you harvest, but the lovely thing with these trees is that once they start bearing, they do so every year. And sometimes, if you are lucky with certain trees, they will do so in such an abundance that then you got to figure out what to do with it all. And that's another kind of lovely aspect of having so much fruit, is then figuring out ways to preserve it so that you don't just let it go to waste effectively. Lemons are fantastic in that they generally do produce year-round. Some of the other citruses, not quite year-round, but maybe twice a year, which is nice. You can get that that bulk harvest. And then obviously one of the king of fruits, we then have something like mangoes. And with mangoes, there's so many different types, there's so many different flavors that you can kind of get with them. This one we grew from seed, although a lot of the times, a lot of those that are sold in nurseries will probably be grafted effectively. But this one was a very particular type that I really enjoyed that came from my grandfather's farm. And we saved the seeds, I got them germinated, and this is about 8 years ago, and now they are starting to bear. And I can look forward to many years of this bearing every year, effectively. And the bigger it gets, the more it will be bearing, which is fantastic as well. So having this type and a different type, or maybe two other different types of mangoes, I can extend that kind of harvest beyond 2, 3, 4 week period into something that might last 2 months, 3 months, depending on when those different varieties will ripen. So we have the early ripening ones, we have the mid-season ripening, and then we have later season ripening as well. And mango is definitely an essential to add to any home orchard. So the easiest fruits to grow here in our climate in Zambia generally tend to be mango. Very, very easy one, and nice in that it doesn't necessarily need to be watered full year. Once it is established, it will grow and produce even though it's not getting irrigated during the drier weather. Next, we have something like guava, which again, once it is established, doesn't necessarily need to be irrigated to be producing fruits, and is a very prolific fruiter. Whether you like the pink or the white flushed variety, they are delicious either way. Another then one that we can grow really easily in Zambia is something like avocado. They do take a little bit more time usually to produce, unless you are getting a grafted variety, which could produce in a number of years. But the fruits of the avocado are unmatched in their versatility on savory things, in my opinion. I know some people like to use them with sugar and things like that. I'm much more on the savory side for that. And then citrus. There are so many different types of citrus, be it lemon, lime, orange, kumquat, pomelo or grapefruit. There is such a variety of citrus that can be enjoyed and that can be grown really well in our climate here in Zambia, and that will produce very, very well for you for many, many years. I've got, as I say, probably about I think about 5 different types of citrus in the orchard here. And I'm always on the lookout for new different citrus varieties that I can still be trying. And though they sometimes take a while to start producing, and they do suffer some disease and pest pressures that other things don't, it is definitely worth the effort to keep those citrus looking healthy and producing, so that you get to enjoy all the fruits of it. And then finally, one that's not quite a tree, things like banana and pawpaw. Fantastic, well, in the case of banana, herbaceous fruit-bearing plants, and then with pawpaw, something that is softly woody, it's not quite fully hardwood, but that does bear fairly quickly from seed. You give it good conditions to grow, and it can be bearing within the first year of its planting, and can bear quite well for a number of years going forward. All of them are very easily grown here in Zambia. They're much happier if you give them a bit of irrigation during the dry season, especially in the hot dry season. And all of them will repay us with those lovely fruits that we love to eat, if we just do a little bit to take care of them. So here I've got a bunch of lemon seedlings, and it's not that I want to be growing a lot more lemons, because 2 or 3 trees is usually enough to give you what you need of lemons. These are being grown on so that I can actually graft other citrus varieties, so the different types of orange or nachi, onto the rootstock to then be able to grow more of those varieties that I do want, because those will never come true from seed if you were to plant the seed from those fruits. A lot of our fruit trees are actually grafted, meaning that they've taken the top part, so a stem of a nice known variety, be it a Hass avocado or the Hayden mangoes, and they've taken that stem and grafted it onto the roots from a seedling, because the seedling will not be true to the parent type of what you ate the fruit from. In doing so, we can ensure that that fruit that we want is the one that we're going to get when growing that tree. So here I've got a few dozen different little lemon seedlings, and these will still be growing on for another few weeks to a few months until they're just about pencil thickness. And at that point in time, I will graft some of the other varieties of oranges and nachi that I have onto this, so that I can have more of those sweeter fruits, the slightly nicer fruits that I want en masse, effectively. Grafting is a fantastic technology. It is centuries and in some cases millennia old, and is done both in temperate and tropical regions, and has just been a fantastic way for us to be able to increase the fruits that we really like.